You guys have been yelling at us for years about dust collection. We finally got one. So this is the Mullet third hand dust collection boom arm. When we were at the Texas Woodworking Festival, we met DJ, who is the CEO of Mullet Tools, and we were really impressed with this thing. So he ended up sending us one, and full disclosure guys, we did not pay for this and we are affiliates, but we're gonna put this thing through the test and see how it works. So there's a lot of different configurations you can get this system in. We chose the benchtop mount because for us, that's gonna work best. It's made out of high quality 1.5" PVC, and the great thing about that is you can always add more pieces or cut it down to fit what you need in your shop. The pivoting systems are made out of high quality polycarbonate, so they are made to take abuse and wear, and you can move them as many times as you want. You don't have to worry about them breaking. We decided to do a temporary mount so we can just take it on and off whenever we need, and that really makes it convenient. We do most of our sawdust production outside, but we're gonna test this thing out. We're gonna carve 2 identical signs and we're gonna do it inside with no airflow to really see how this thing works. Once the test is over, we're gonna check out the pros and cons and give you guys our 100% honest opinion.
So you can see right here that there's obviously some sawdust that's not being picked up by the vacuum system. That's pretty much to be expected. The biggest aspect we were looking for in a vacuum system is the fact that it's not going to be attached to our tools. If there's one thing we cannot stand, it's drag as we're working. You notice even in areas like this, I actually ended up hitting it with the base plate. Didn't even notice it. I didn't notice that until I started doing the editing on this video. Because we do all of our sawdust production outside, I never really realized how much fine dust is in the air, especially when we're sanding. This video actually opened my eyes to how much of that crap we're really breathing in. So there's obviously some dust on the bench. Not that big a deal, but the air was clear. There was no issues as far as breathing nasty stuff in at all, and even sweeping this stuff up, nothing got in the air. For some reason, I didn't take any video of the ground when we were done carving. The majority of the sawdust from this particular sign went on the ground, and it was pretty substantial. On the bench, there's definitely some, but there was a lot more on the ground. The sanding disc we used on both of these signs was the 80 grit, and it obviously threw a lot of dust around. But I think that using the 120 would throw even more and much finer dust. So we probably should have done that in this video as well, because I think it would show an even bigger contrast.
All right, let's go over the pros and cons. First con is you have to have the hood very close to where your tool is. Otherwise, it just won't pick up the chips.
So one of the cons, which honestly really isn't a con, but it's definitely something to keep in mind, is the size of your shop vac that you're gonna use. We started out with a little 2 or 3 horse shop vac, and it didn't work all that great. Once we put our 6 horse on this, it improved the performance big time.
This kind of is related to the first con. No matter how close you have that hood, it's gonna miss some of the big chips.
Now let's talk about the pros. The absolute biggest pro about this system is the air quality. You'll notice on the test, there wasn't a massive difference between the bench using it and not using it, but what you probably couldn't see on camera is the air quality inside the studio. Without using this thing, it was like a cloud in here, and that really is what dust collection is about. It's about not inhaling all the fine sawdust. That's where this thing really shined. It was a massive difference.
One of the phrases that I hate the most is assembly required. You don't have to worry about it. Everything is slip fit It literally goes together in seconds with no tools required, none.
The versatility of this system is huge. You can set this up with just a shop vac, and it comes with a base and it'll roll around with your shop vac. You can get the bench mount system, which we really like. You can also use a hose that they give you all the pieces to attach, except the hose obviously, and you can still attach it to your tool if you want.
So a big thing for us is American made. We love doing business with American companies, and DJ and his whole team is putting this together here in America. We love that fact.
Another thing I really like about it is the fact that the polycarbonate joints are clear. So you can see any obstructions. If you lose power in your vacuum system, you can just pop one of the things off and you can see exactly what's going on, and it's super easy to clear.
Here's another big pro for me is you're not attaching this to your router or your tool unless you want to. I don't like any restriction on my router at all, or my sander or anything. So the cool thing about this is you just get it close, it does the job, but you don't have to attach it.
So if you guys are working inside, this is an absolute must in my opinion if you don't have some sort of vacuum system. The air quality issue is by far the biggest problem that this system solves. When you're sanding or you're getting the fine sawdust particles, the biggest problem is you're inhaling that stuff. I cannot stand wearing a mask or a respirator unless I absolutely have to. This fixes that. The difference was huge. Now, the way it sits right here, this system is $199, and that is way cheaper than any of the other dust collection systems that we've seen. So guys, I will leave a link in the description below for a discount for the Mullet tool systems, whichever one you want, whether it's just hooking up to the shop vac, the bench mount, whatever. It's a top-notch tool, guys, extremely well made, and for us, if we're carving inside, this is a must. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email, ryan@makeawoodsign.com, or you can email dad, eric@makeawoodsign.com, and we'll see you guys on the next one.